everyone. Hello, and hopefully everything's coming through okay. Yep, all good. Okay, hello everyone, this is live. It's Wednesday, which means it's a chance for you to ask me anything for question time. That is the chance for you to ask me any question you like about games dev, Unreal Engine 4, anything you really like, really. You can put down in the chat comments or whatever you want to do, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. Now, if I do miss your question, don't take it to heart. Just keep posting it, and hopefully I'll catch it in time. Okay, and I'll try my best to explain and answer as many questions as I can in this 1 hour session. If you are joining us for the first time, hello and welcome. Hopefully you enjoy yourself and enjoy the evening. And don't forget to subscribe if you've not subscribed already. We are live on Twitch and on YouTube, so hello on both ends. Hello everyone. So a few housekeeping things as usual. One-to-one sessions are available. We are now fully booked for pretty much all of October. I think there's one slot left. So if you want that slot, just message me and inquire about it. There are one-to-one. There's one slot available for October. However, November is completely open. So if you want a slot for November, just let me know and we can book you in ASAP. Okay. That's that. Next, we got the Game Jam happening in our 3-year anniversary spectacular. So in the last week of October, we'll be doing a special week-long event because it's the 3rd year anniversary of the channel, which means videos every single day, a Games Jam, special video content, all cool little surprises as well along the way. So check that out in the end of October. So the Games Jam, you can find more information about that on itch. So go to itch.io and search for Ryan Laley Jam, and you can sign up. And there's prizes for the winner and some runner-ups. So check out what you have to do. And it's designed to be for beginners and for experienced people. What will be happening with that is the theme will be announced live on the Saturday, that way it starts. And in that session, I'll also release a few videos explaining how to get started with it. It'll make more sense at the time. Okay, but it's a little bit different from your regular old Games Jam. So check it out and sign up and have a good laugh with it. Okay, so let's get on with today. So hello, let's see who we got in chat. What we got? We got hello Tyler, hello Florian, hello Underfunded Scientist, hello Sonny, Angus, Zem, hello everyone. Hello Brett again, hello James, Angus, hi again. Hello. As I say, just put up a question into chat. I see some people have been putting some questions in, so I'll try and scroll back and catch some as they come by. Jonas Goodard, do you have a course? Do you mean a course that you can follow to complete? Yes, I have the Making Your Very First Game. So it's a full course. So you make a whole game from start to finish. I give you all the assets, so you just got to follow along, and I teach you the basics of Unreal, and you get to make your first ever full game. It's what I do with all my students in real life, because if you don't really know, I'm a teacher of games development in real life as well. And this is one of the tasks I go through with them in the first sort of term. It's a really nice way to get introduced into Unreal. And also it's a nice thing because you can keep adding stuff to it. So I also set challenges right at the end of the course. So you can take what you've learned and try and adapt it, add extra challenge to the course. So check that out. You can find that on YouTube or on Skillshare if you're a member on Skillshare as well. Okay, Snapple Mutants, a maths question, my favourite. Rotate a forward vector up by 45 degrees and randomly left or right 45 degrees with the forward vector being able to face in any direction on the XY plane. Cool, okay, hang on. Rotate a forward vector up by 45 degrees. So, forward vector up 45 and randomly left and right 45 degrees. So I've got that 90-degree cone like that. Being able to face in any direction on the XY plane. That's where you lose me there, Snapple Mountain. Can you explain what you mean by the last bit there? Because you're saying you want to be able to face in any direction of XY plane, but if you're using the forward vector, or do you mean like up 45 degrees and then No, I'm confused. What do you mean snap or move to? Can you explain that a bit more in depth, please? It's the last bit that's confusing me. So I understand you want to go up like that and then left or right randomly, but then you want to be able to face in any direction. That's the bit I'm lost at. Let us know in chat what you mean by that, and I'll come back to that one. Oh, pardon me, I've got a massive stitch in my stomach. I don't know where it's come from. It is killing me. Hello, Jonas. Hi on Twitch. Who we got here? For compiling UE4 code, this is by Sony Reloaders. Hello. For compiling UE4 code, which hardware do you need in PC parts? You need a good CPU and a good GPU for building shaders mostly. So nothing less than an i5. We managed to do fine with i5s at the college I teach at. So you can be surprised. You can do quite a lot with very little in Unreal, but obviously it will take longer. So I'm running on an i7. I've got a GTX 2060. It works quite nice. Tyler Cassidy, how can I increase the temp texture streaming buffer and pore size so I don't have to? Oh, hang on. They keep setting them in the console. Temp texture streaming buffer never seems to be large enough, even when increased. So for those who don't know, the texture streaming buffer, is basically the amount of memory all your textures take up. And usually you get the warning message come up because what happens is the engine allocates a certain amount of size to it, to that buffer, and if it exceeds that buffer, you get a little warning message come up, and you can increase it manually in the console by typing in some console command. But Tyler's here asking if we can just do that, set that permanently, I assume here. So I'm not too sure. Let's go. If anything, it'll be in the editor preferences, I would imagine. And we'll type in buffer. No. Let's try project settings then. If it's not in here, then there's a no to that question. But typically you can get past it if you are a bit more optimized with your textures. So not putting everything as high texture counts. Don't use mega scan textures for everything. Where else we going? Oh my god, my stitch. It hurts. It don't look like it. There's nothing in here I can see that says it supports it there, Tyler. So it's either setting it manually yourself every single time, or working on your texture optimization. So keep your textures at base power of 2, which means they have to be 64 by 64, 128 by 128, 256 by 256, and so on and so forth. And that will generate bitmaps for you automatically on Unreal. So that's what you need to do. Don't use 4K textures for everything. There's no need. A lot of people will put 4K texture. I think I've explained this before, but people will use a 4K texture on something that will literally only take up like a small percentage of the whole entire screen. You don't need 4,000 pixels to cover that much on the screen. So lower it way down. Also limit the amount of textures you've got going on by trying to overlap textures together using different channels. Try and optimize it a little bit. Okay, let's carry on. Snap and move in your back. Okay, so like a character standing, move forward, left and right on the XY plane. Jumping up and down would be on the Z plane. So the character forward vector would be on the XY plane. The forward vector is already on the XY plane. It's going forwards on the XY plane. Forgive me if I'm being stupid, but I would say it is already on the X and Y plane. Like a character standing, move forward, left and right on X and Y. That's what it does automatically. Because hang on. Oh, this stitch is killing me. It's literally, if I breathe, it's killing me. Because, like, we get the forward vector here, and that's on X and Y. See, get forward X unit direction. So spawn and X are facing up 45 degrees and randomly left or right 45 from the direction the character facing up 45 and randomly left or right 45 degree. Snapple, are you on my Discord? If you're on my Discord, can you draw me like a diagram and send me it on Discord, and I'll try and look at it and message you back. If not during the stream afterwards. It's still, I can't picture it. What it is you're trying to do. Okay. Who else we got? Florian Alliger. Hey there. I have a 3T person AI that jumps between 3-point rows, 12 fixed target points. A factor needs to tell the AI to either pick the rear, front, left, and right row. What? A 3T person AI? What do you mean by 3T? What do you mean by 3T, Florian? Again, am I being stupid? Am I not getting the vernacular right? I have a 3T person AI that jumps between 3-point rows, 12 fixed target points. Do you mean like a hopscotch? Like you have like a grid, and well, you can't see it. So a grid, and it's like a center grid, and it will either jump to that one, that one, that one, or that one. Is that what you mean? You tell it to pick a point that's closest to it. Oh, James, a stitch is cramping diaphragm. Breathe deeply and it'll go away. It hurts. No. Kills. Snappermoon, just join my Discord. If like I told you, if you're not on my Discord already, join it. You can find a link on my website. Go to ryanlady.com, check out my blog, and you'll find a link there to the Discord. I need to organise the website a bit better so you can find links like that a lot easier. But go to ryanlady.com and look at my blog section, and you'll find information about my Discord, including a link to it. So check that out. Brett Kenny, thank you for the donation. Thank you for super chat. Need help? Character question coming shortly. Okay, I'll look out for it. Alright, Florian. Okay, so I've actually got a video of that coming soon. It won't. Oh, I say soon. It'll be soon for patrons, but maybe not so soon for everyone else. You need to make a function which you take all the actors of the rows and you put them into an array, and then you do a for each loop on that array, and for each one you measure the distance between it and the AI, and if that distance is shorter than the previous distance, it's hard to explain. It's shorter than the previous distance, then that new grid becomes the target grid. If it isn't, then it will just ignore it and move on, and it will just go through all the items and find the closest one. Now, because you're working in the grid in the cardinal direction, so up, down, left, and right, those ones will be the closest ones, and you just pick a random one out of that. I'm guessing either that or you do a line trace. So line traces don't have to come from the character out. They can be anywhere. So if you do a line trace starting over here, so you can't see my hand, but over here pointing down, if it hits a grid, then that'd be a grid. And you do another one there going down. In fact, let's make it. Let's do it, Florian. Let's make it right now. So we got a player character here, okay? So I'll make a tile. Hang on. Let's make a tile. Tile. Let's do it, Florian. I'm with you. We'll do it. We need a cube. And I'm going to squash it. Get myself a tile. Very nice. And this, I'm going to make sure in the collision, it is set to block. Yep, everything. Then on my event graph, I'm going to, let's just make a function in here. Custom events. Select tile. And that'll be a new parameter. Actually, no, not a new parameter. Let's clear that. So I'm gonna make a little thing so we can see what tile we've selected. Hang on. Yeah, okay, we'll do this. We'll do new parameter is on. Oh. Do a branch. Hello. And if it's true, I'm going to take the cube out, set material, and set material. And we'll do, I'll make a new material. And make it green. Apply. Come on. I'm a bit slow today. Okay, that was called new material. Okay, so if it's true, it'll do that. If it's false, it'll do whatever the basic one is. Basic shape material. Oh, I don't have that. It's because it's part of the engine content, isn't it? Yeah. Quick base material. Okay, so I've got this select tile happening. Okay, so that will happen on a tile. And let's just place some of these out in the world. And let's make it a bit bigger. X and Y, we'll do 3 by 3. Okay. Okay, so let's make the grid up. Okay, and then do. Okay, you said 12, so I think that's what you meant, something like this. Okay, so on the player character then, we're going to do 4 line traces. So I'm going to do, let's do, here we call tile line trace. Okay, and this is going to take an input, and this will be start vector. And that'd be obviously a vector. So I'm not seeing a lot of questions. I'll look up once I've done this one. We're almost there. So do a line trace. Start vector will be there, and start vector will also be added onto. No, sorry. We do start vector, add another vector, and because we go straight down, we can do a minus number in the Z. So we do minus 500. I don't know. And that'll be invisibility. Let's turn on debug on for 1 frame. Out hit, we're going to split that. And we'll check if this is a tile. I don't want to do a cast really. If I can help it. Let's make an interface. Let's make an interface. That will solve that problem. Interface. Call it that. Why not? In here we'll do activate. Okay, and the tile is going to inherit that activation interface. So new interface. So rather than doing this select tile, we're going to have the activate event, which is part of the interface. And oh, we want that to have a parameter. Is activated. that in. Okay, so there's our interface, and that makes it a lot better because I can just do this then. Activate message. And tick. Turn value true. Okay, so that's going to do a line trace down and hit tile if it has an activation on it. So on the event graph now, we're going to do a tick. And on the tick, we're going to do a for loop. Starting at 0, going to 3. On the line trace, we're going to do a tile line trace, like so. But then you just need a start vector. Now, start vector is going to be the forward vector, risen up, and rotated amount. Okay, so let me move this out a bit. Get forward vector of the actor and multiply that by a distance, so it goes out. We'll do 150. So that's going to basically project it out here somewhere. Then we want to rotate that by the index, so we'll do rotate vector. In fact, we should rotate it before we multiply it. Rotate vector. And we'll rotate it in Z. So split that. No, not split that. Let's do index multiplied by a rotator. And in the Z, I'm going to go 90. Rotate vector will be this. Then that'll go into this to get the length. And then that'll go into the star vector. I think that's right. So that'll do that. Tile line trace done. Okay. Let's push play. I've got some old code going on here, so I don't know what that print string's doing. Let's find it. Print string. I don't have a print string in here. Yeah, let me go through my code and make sure I get rid of the old stuff. Oh, I've put on the wrong pissing thing. Oh, no, I ain't. Why am I not seeing it then? One frame. Shift F1, F8. Oh. I'm hitting the wrong one. There you go. No, come on. God's sake. Right, Shift F1. Oh, because you have to be in the window, that's why. Viewport. So that's the widget player. Yes, I'm not seeing it. Why am I not seeing it? What? For loop. Let's print string this because this should be doing it. Yeah, hello. Yeah, it's doing it. Just can't see the pissing things. Oh, wait, I know why. Dope. I need to add this onto the actor's start location. Get actor location. And add that to this vector here. Let's offset it by where the player is. Well, in your case, it would be the enemy. There you go. So as I walk around, activate tiles. So to deactivate them, what would I need to do? How would I deactivate them? But you see what I mean? You don't need to do the activation. You just need to pick one. So the line traces detect a hit. I've got one there. And I've got one to. If I come out of here, so you can see I've got 4 line traces happening. So you could do that, and then use that line traces with the actors they hit, put them into an array, and then choose one at random, and that will be where the AI goes. Hopefully that helped, gives you some ideas what you could do. Right, so let's crack on. What else we got going on here? So Brett, have you got your question up? Brett, I'm having massive trouble with weight painting low poly clothing. Mesh clips through after a lot of weight painting work. Should I hide skin mesh underneath clothes? Problems with doing that. That's the best way to do it, is to hide the skin mesh underneath the clothing. Otherwise, you need to make the clothing hover basically off of the player, so rather than from clipping through. Hopefully that helps. It's not. So James, you're talking about the physics asset. The physics asset has nothing to do with it. The clothes won't hit that because they're inside the physics asset. Show an example. Where'd they put it? Okay, so the physics asset are these bubbles that you see. Okay, and your clothing's probably inside of it, therefore it's not going to detect it. So it's kind of useless. But what you do is your clothing would typically replace parts of your mesh. So I haven't got an example here to show you, but you skin your clothing to be part of the model, and then you weight paint it if you wanted to flap about. Yeah, I haven't got anything I can show you in here. And then on your player character, if I go in here, actually, stop. On your player character, you'd have the various meshes for your different clothing pieces, and then you'd make a master pose component. So you use master pose. So set master pose component of the mesh, and in here you add a new component here, and you can what's it called? No, not make. Get. No. Oh, what's it called? Master. I'll have to Google it. You have to do something here, and you basically build more. You can add more meshes to it. What did you do? Make it. I swear it's like an array you add to it. I've forgotten. The phone. Oh, yeah, it's the wrong way around. So the main body would go in here, and you'd put all the other meshes into it. So, for example, imagine these are the clothing meshes you got. Yeah, for example, they would all plug into this, like that, and they'll all be connected to this body mesh. And then you'd weight paint them. This body mesh would have pieces missing where the clothing would be. So maybe just a head, for example, and your hands, and then you do that. That's the best way of doing it. But yeah, you wouldn't have meshes, you wouldn't have vertices underneath underneath clothing. Also, yeah, and as someone just said, James Jocelyn, if you can't see the vertices, there's no point having it there. You might as well get rid of it, cut it out. BJ Productions, I guess that's what I say. Ryan, do you have an idea to make a build mode like the Sim style? Check out on Patreon. There's a building series on there that's been started. you can kind of get from there roughly what you got to do. Let me scroll down to the bottom. I'll catch up with people. Yes, Brett, it is like modular pieces, yes. James, so you need the vertices under clothing. I think animal clothes change your clothes. Okay, so your vertices under clothing, you wouldn't have that. What you do is you'll have, like, say you had a naked top half of the body, yeah? That would be its own, like, sort of quote-unquote clothing rig. Yeah, it would be technically classed as like clothing, but it's nothing there. And then you swap that out with different clothing pieces. That's the way you would do it. At least it's one way of doing it. I think it's the best way. But yeah. Canada Love, how long do you think a 3D game a game takes to make? Depends on the game. I made one in like an hour or so. It weren't great, but it's a game. Depends on what you want to make, really. Jamal, question. I've got an actor with a widget component that generates in the scene, not attached to character or controller. How do I send actor info to the widget? What do I cast to? It generates in a scene. Okay, so so by generating a scene, do you mean you've got at some point this node here? So add widget component. You've got that, I assume. And if you've got that, you need to take this return value and promote that to a variable. Once you've got that variable, you can do whatever you want with that widget, because now you've got a reference to it. So with that widget component, you can get the widget on it, get user widget object, and that is the widget that is being displayed. So there you can get that to cast to the widget if you want, or you can use this to set a variable on the widget, depending on what it is. But typically you would cast to the widget, then set a value on it. Is that good for you, Jamal? So I assume that's what you're doing. If you're saying you're doing it in runtime by using this node, so adding a widget component, you store it as a value, and then later on when you want to change its values, you'd get this, then get user widget object, and then you can do a cast to whatever you want. Let us know. That solves your problem. Aridam Pani, question. Hey Ryan, trying to make a shark AI to move in 3D space, and the current movement in Unreal does not work for that. Any suggestions on creating a navigation system in Unreal and for movement? Oh, geez. This is a tricky one I've been trying to play with as well earlier in the year when I'm trying to do flying AI, which is basically swimming AI, same thing. I didn't finish it, but I'll tell you my approach, and maybe you can take it from there. I was generating an EQS grid. Okay, so I worked in horizontal and done like a loop to do a grid of EQS points, and then I can use that to query each one. Oh, pardon me. And send the AI to that point. But honestly, you could just do it as a flying creature. It's underwater, but it's flying. And change its sort of the way it works out where to go by using line traces. So you do a line trace out from the front to the sides, top and bottom, and then you can use that to determine where you want to go. As you can get a point within a volume. So hang on. So if you make a volume up, you want to get a point in it. Let's make a new. For example, make a box volume. Okay, whatever. You can use that. See if I can remember how you do it now. Is it contains? No. Oh dear. What's it called? point. Nope, I can't remember what it's called. Hang on, let me see if I can find it again. Get random points. That's random. No, don't need that. Random point. God, I can't type. In bounding box. Okay, so you get the origin. So you get the box here, for example. Get world location. Bosh. Then you get extent. So get bounding or component bounds. And oh, there you go. Just use this. Origin. Boff. Extent. Boff. Okay. And that'll give you a random point in there. Okay. So, for example, let's make a little point in here. Let's make a little sphere. Make it smaller. 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. And make a custom, do a function. Random point, we'll call it. And we'll use this. So I'll cut that out there. Put that in there. Get the sphere. Set location. Like so. And we'll make this one calling editor. So then we can drag this out in the world. And hopefully this works. Let's go on a box here. Let's do 1,000. 1,000 by 1,000. Okay. And you should have a button on here too. Random point. And it should move. It's hard to tell. Hang on. Hear me? Let's move that over here. Okay, so I've hit this point. Yeah, it is moving. I saw it just move. Hang on, where'd it go? There it is. I should have made it a bit bigger. Let's make it a bit bigger. 1. Oh, no. Okay, there's my point. So you can see it a bit better now. So if I were to click this button, you'll see it jumping around. So you use a random point like that to make it like where it wants to go. So you make it move towards that point, and the way it avoids stuff is using the line traces. That's one way of doing it. Depends how much stuff you've got going in the way. Because if you want to do path tracing, it becomes a little bit more trickier. All day clicking that button. Do. Okay. Return. How do you make an array of static mesh actors without them being in the world first? So then you have to so that you then have an array to iterate through. You can spawn at will. Return. So you can't. When you make an array. Let me see if I can explain this well. When you make a variable, let's say actors. We'll use static meshes. Let's call it static mesh here. Static mesh, and you make this an array. Now, when it's blue like this, that means it's an instance. This instance means it's been spawned in the world. Okay, it's a particular reference of a particular class. So this tile here is an instance of my tile actor, as is this one, as is this one, and so on and so forth. So that's what this is, and that's why you can't set it inside here easily. Okay, you have to manually do it inside the world. If you want to if it's if it's static mesh actors, yeah. Static mesh actors, compile. Okay, that's why you can't set this here. Okay, because they need to be instance actors. If you want to spawn at will, rather than use static mesh actors, use static mesh. Okay, so static mesh, because then here you can specify, compile. So here you can specify which static mesh you want to use. So that's a pillar, cube, so on and so forth, okay? Then when you want to spawn one, you create, oh no, not create, spawn actor from class. You choose, if you want to do static mesh, you can choose static mesh actor. And then from there, you can set the mesh you want to use. From here. Oh. And that new mesh will be a random one from this actor list. So get random int in range 0 last index into max. And that's now going to get me a random value out of that array. If I were to plug that in with my function here, do that, and we'll get the sphere out, get location. Oh no, actually, let's not do that. Let's just put that here. Oh no, we combine. So random point. Get rid of that, it's old code. And get rid of that. So take this random point stuff, put that here, split the transform, put that in there. So now I've got a code here which will spawn a random static mesh from that list. So if I go over here to my cube, if I were to click on the cube here, there's my pillar, cube, pillar, 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 pillar. Keep going. Yeah. Does that work for you, Red Turn? You understand what I mean by that? So you can make some random cool stuff there. So to recap, don't use static mesh actors, use static mesh object types, and then make your list of possible static meshes. And then you can, if it's random, then you can do random. It doesn't have to be random, it could be sequential if you want to do sequential. So when you spawn one, you spawn a static mesh actor, and a static mesh actor has this component which you can then set. Let us know if that works for you. Red Turn. Okay. Anyone else? Let's have a look. We've got about 10 minutes left, so if you have any more questions you want to ask, chuck it into the chat. And we'll answer them as best we can, as quickly as we can. Is chat frozen for me? I think chat's frozen for me. Let's have a look at the web version. I think chat's frozen. No idea. here. Has chat frozen for you guys? Or is it just me? Not a clue. Don't know what's going on there. No idea what's happening there. Has it crashed? Yeah, no, I think it's still going. I'm going to type something in. Testing chat. I think it's frozen. I don't know if that worked or not. Can someone just type something in the chat and let me know so I can see if it's working? I think chat's frozen. There's no way for me to know or test it out. Must be, because it was going quite fast down and then it suddenly just stopped and hasn't moved an inch for a while now. So I guess something's broken. Well, unfortunately, I can't read any more questions because I don't think the chat's working, so I can't see it coming through. Trying to see if I can work it out on my phone. No? Okay. Well, we're pretty much at the end of tonight's stream anyway, so I think we'll call it a night there. Technical difficulties. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, in that case, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for those who asked their questions. If I didn't get around to your question, I apologise, but I do this every Wednesday, so come by next Wednesday for another question time where you can ask me anything. Other than that, have a great evening, and this Saturday is another live stream, and it's a case study looking at Grounded. So check out, we'll play some Grounded and try and decipher how things were made and how things were done. And you can ask your questions about some techniques they may have employed to make that game, and we can hypothesize what they did. And that will be followed by the following week when we do a tutorial based on our findings there. So check us out on Saturday as we play Grounded. Thank you for everyone for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that follow button, hit the little bell, everything you can do. And thank you to all my patrons for their continued support over this past month and into next month. Thank you again so much. Okay, have a great evening, everyone, and I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.